Good morning and welcome to CSL Greater Boston. What a gift it is to have you with us this morning. We are here to talk and celebrate the fact that love wins. That is our topic today. Love wins. Now, what does that mean? What does that look like? All month we have been leaning into love. This our topic for the year is living out loud, really allowing ourselves to be seen and being that full expression. Well, loving out loud is the same thing. It's letting people see not only what we do, how we act, how our mood, people can tell really where we're at. So it's loving out loud. If we want to see that change in the world, we have to be that change in the world. And that's what we've been talking about this month. Every aspect from our personal self care to really being that. And what does it look like to be that advocate for others? How do we show up as that, as love? Well, today we're going to talk about love wins. So, knowing that spirit is all there is and spirit is love, the universe always wins. And how does that look and what does that unfold like? And how do I come to terms with that? To really recognize the beauty and the divinity in things that don't seem holy, in things that don't seem the way I would choose them to be. So, we're going to talk about that. And, we are here at CSL Greater Boston teaching the science of mind. And what that is religion, philosophy, and science. So it is that full approach to spirituality, to living a life of oneness in this universe, in this thing called life. And, we are a loving community that is here to fully embrace and invite all. Here, our vision at CSL Greater Boston is an inclusive community based on love and acceptance. That is a healing presence for all through joyful connection, activities, and education. Our mission is a spiritual community that lovingly embraces all races, ages, abilities, genders, and the celebration of diversity through the practice of science of mind teachings and principles for the betterment of each individual and the oneness of all. And our purpose, well, we bring about positive change within individuals and the world by teaching and embodying the science of mind teachings and principles, carrying them out into the world. And we're going to talk about what that means and what that looks like and how we recognize that love as me, as each one, as this universe wins. So the first thing we're going to do before we pray, because we always begin with prayer, we're going to play a song, and this particular song I love. It is actually Michael Gotton and Karen um, Drucker wrote it, and it is "There Is Only Love." So I invite you. There's of course beautiful pictures, but really let it settle in. There is only love.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only when I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I can hear Spirit gently say, there is only love, there is only love. It's love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. It's the love that heals, the love that sets me free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love.
What a beautiful song. And I love that line when it says, love that sets us free. That's what love is meant to do, set us free. So when we remember that freedom is, is who we are, we have to remember that we are that love. And, we get to be that reminder for people as well. What a gift it is. You see those images with children or even pets, and what a beautiful image because it's pure love. So it's our call to be that love everywhere and always. So I want to say hello to people that are joining us. Welcome, Diana. Wonderful to have you here. Yes, good morning. We're on the East Coast, wondering where you are. Love to hear where you're watching from. Welcome. Wherever you are, we are so glad you're joining us. So let us know, sending us a comment or a message. We would love to hear from you. So we're going to go right into prayer. And we're blessed to have two wonderful practitioners here with us this morning. And Sonia Hart from Barbados is going to be doing our invocation for us this morning. Sonia, thank you. And
Good
take it away.
morning. Good morning, CSL Greater Boston, and to everyone who's watching us live on Facebook or YouTube. I'm going to ask you in this moment to connect to the God of your understanding, to acknowledge that presence that is always with us as we go into our affirmative. There's harmony. likeness and image of God. I am all that.
Technology is fabulous when it works. So, unfortunately, we were chatting before and everything was wonderful. So, I am going to pray us in, knowing that all is well and that Sonia is going to find her way back to us. What a blessing to be here this morning, to be in this sacred space and beloved community. I am so grateful to come together for the purpose of love, to know that love is all there is, was, and ever will be. It's all right here and right now, where I am, where each one is in this beloved community. I celebrate love today. And I know that every aspect of the service, that each one that needs to hear the message, each one, wherever they are in their homes, whether they're driving, wherever this message is reaching, each one is blessed. Hears what they need to hear, is reminded of the truth of the love that each one is. That each one is that individualized expression. In this moment, it is celebrated. And I know that the service, the electronics, that every aspect from the music to the message is exactly as Spirit chooses. So knowing that there is no wrong, that all is well now, I celebrate this service. I celebrate each one partaking in it. I celebrate each one watching. I celebrate the love that it shines out to the world. Filled with joy and anticipation, I say amen and blessed be. And so it is. So we know you were praying with us. We had a double prayer, Sonia. We had a double prayer this morning. Thank you for being here. Thank you for celebrating with us. And now we have our reading, our sacred reading by Barbara Epstein. Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you. I love the title, Love Wins. I think there's so much truth in that. And as I was trying to figure out what I was going to read, I managed to open up a book that I used the last time I read, 365 Days of Rich Living, which is just wonderful. And this came, the absolutely right message came out when love wins. When we let the love that is within us go out to the God who is in all people and the divine presence that is in all things, then we are loving God with all our heart and with all our soul and mind, because we are recognizing that the spirit within us is the same spirit that we meet in others. This is loving neighbors as ourselves. The love that is within me goes out to the God who is within all people. I recognize the divine presence everywhere. I love and adore this presence. I know that it responds to me. I know that there is a law of good, a law of love, forever giving itself to me. This divine and perfect law is circulating through me now. Its rhythm is in my heartbeat. Its perfection is in every organ, action, and function of my physical body. Love and perfect life circulate through everything. This love and this life I accept as the truth myself now and forever, and know it is so for everyone else. This same love, the same presence, the same law of good I recognize in others. It is a divine presence, a holy presence, and a perfect presence. It is a law that heals and makes whole, that prospers and makes happy. This is the law of my life. This is the good that I meet everywhere. I know that the only power there is and the only presence there is love, the living Spirit Almighty. There is no condemnation, no judgment, and no fear in me. I feel that I belong to the world in which I live. I love people and am loved of them. I have a deep sense of confidence and trust. I feel that I am secure in life and that I need not be anxious about everything. And so it is.
And so it is. What a perfect reading. Absolutely.
Oh my God. It was
Thank you.
perfect.
Thank you so much, Barbara. And before we get into our message, I have a song that's actually a Carrie Underwood song that is called Love Wins. You know, it's very current and it's very much what we see sometimes in the world we don't quite understand, at least for me, knowing that, you know, in this oneness, love wins.
A stray bullet in a mama cries. Her baby won't be coming home tonight. Sirens screaming down the avenue. Just another story on the evening news. Oh, whoa. Politics and prejudice. How the hell did it ever come to this? When everybody's gotta pick a side. It don't matter if you're wrong or right, no. And so it goes. But I hold on to hope and I won't let go. 'Cause I believe you and me are sisters and brothers. And I believe we're made to be here for each other. And we'll never fall if we walk hand in hand. Put a world that seems broken together again. Yeah, I believe in the end, love wins. Sometimes it takes a lot of faith to keep believing there will come a day when the tears and the sadness, the pain and the hate, the struggle, this madness will all fade away. Yeah, I believe you and me are sisters and brothers. And I believe we're made to be here for each other. And we'll never fall if we walk hand in hand. Put a world that seems broken together again. Yeah, I believe in the end, love wins. Love is power, love is a smile, love reaches out, love is the remedy, love is the answer, love's an open door, love is the only thing worth fighting for. Yeah, I believe you and me are sisters and brothers. And I believe we're made to be here for each other. And we'll never fall if we walk hand in hand. Put a world that seems broken together again. Yeah, I believe in the end, love wins. Oh yeah, love wins. Love will, love can, love still, love wins. Love will, love can, love still, love wins.
Yes, love wins. You know, have you ever read a book or wanted to watch a movie, but you worried about the ending. See, some of us like to be surprised, and others, may not. But you ever wonder, in the end, what really happens? Is it something I really want to watch? I don't know about you, but I have found out, is it a happy ending? Do I really want to watch this? Because sometimes it's important to know, that I'm not going through hours of this to be let down. Well, that's what this message is about. Love wins. So in the end, it's all okay. So not only this day, this week, this month, but life itself, love wins. So in the end, there is no end. But in our end, or seeming transition, love wins. Whether it's a day, a week, a month, or eternity. I don't know about you, but there's some good in that for me. To know that no matter what, all is well. And sometimes that's easy to forget, but it's so true and so important. Ernest Holmes said, "Love is the grandest healing and drawing power on earth." So it is the most important thing there is. It heals us, it nurtures us. It is when we pray and we are in that place of knowing and being as love, we are the conduits. Amazing things happen. We have the opportunity to celebrate life in new ways. And we are magnets because we are that love, showing up in the world as that light. There's that saying, one bad apple can spoil a bunch. Well, one great apple can bring up an entire room. Be that conduit of love. Show up in life. And sometimes that's easier than others. Sometimes we have to have a breakdown to break through. Sometimes things have to fall apart so they can be put together even better. And when we're in the muck, when we're in like a butterfly, when the caterpillar is in the chrysalis, it has no idea what's coming. Well, knowing that that's all love, that there's beauty in everything. It's about staying in that place and really understanding it, being it, showing up as it, and learning how. And that's really what it's all about. We have to know what love is. It's not, just about flowers or candy when somebody says it to you. It's about being in the trenches with someone and holding their hand on that day when they're not feeling themselves, when they forget who they are. It's reminding them. It's knowing them and loving them enough for them to love themselves again. That's friendship or any kind of relationship. That's what love is really about. And that's what we're here to be in the world. It's how we show up. That is the love that sets us free. It takes down any seeming walls or barriers. I appreciated Carrie Underwood going into the topics that she did. Right now politics seem to divide, but that's a tricky word. It's all just about people, and everybody wants to be heard. Maya Angelou said, "Love recognizes no barriers. It jumps hurdles, leaps fences, penetrates walls to arrive at its destination full of hope." And that's who we are. We do whatever it takes to be and to show up in the world as we're meant to be. Everything is either showing as love or it's a call to love. And it's important to us to know that that is our true nature. M- Mother Teresa, who is one of my true inspirations, says, "Give yourself fully to God. He will use you to accomplish great things on the condition that you believe much more in His love than your own weakness. There is nothing you are not capable of. And I love that the stained glass window, because that is who we are. There may be a window there, but the light that's shining through is spirit. Each one of us has that light to shine through. It's so important that we remember that whatever the question is, love is the answer. And we say these things, but they're not sound bites. It's important that we look at things and we see, with right eyes. That's one of my prayers that I talk about all the time is, Spirit, fix my eyes that I may see beyond beyond what I'm hung up on. There are people in our lives that we come across that the rough edges help us to figure out who we are. And it's okay. It's meant to be that way. So when we show up as love, we get that opportunity to go a little deeper. What is this here to show me? How do I show up as love? I don't have to like necessarily everyone. There's a lot of things that people do that may frustrate me. I don't have to go and have a cup of coffee with everyone. But when I am in a place of not in alignment with you, if I'm wishing you anything but love, then it's owning me. There needs to be forgiveness. And it's a radical forgiveness. You know, People often go against something they don't understand. And I don't have to agree with you, but I do need to love you. You're my sister, you're my brother. You are the person that that you're one with me. And sometimes I practice that oneness better than others. Sometimes I look at things and it's very disheartening. When we look outside and we're waiting for something to change. As we watch that video, how often do we see homeless people on the street and just drive by? How often do we, gripe about something like a medical bill? And the truth is, what a gift it is to be able to have not just adequate care, but wonderful care, knowing that anything I need is available to me. That's a blessing that I too often take for granted. I get to choose the eyes I see through, and fixing my eyes reminds me of the blessings behind it all. So it is being in a place of understanding that I no longer need to learn through suffering and pain. I choose love, being that change. I like I was saying, I truly, Mother Teresa is the epitome of love for me, and I have always had an affinity for her. She won the Nobel Peace Prize actually in '79 for serving the sick and dying in Calcutta in India. She spent her life truly caring for the most amazing of the people that we wouldn't necessarily ever even meet. Gandhi said to meet her is to feel utterly humble. She used the money from the Peace Prize to build a home for lepers. She won countless awards, and often they came with money, and they would go to centers and medical centers for the handicapped, orphans. She would go out of her way and show up at the places in DC in '71. She ladled the first bowl of soup at a kitchen for the community for creative nonviolence. And when AIDS was rampant in New York City, she met with Ronald Reagan, President Reagan, and had him promise to create a home, a place for people with AIDS. She went all over the world. She went to the Soviet Union and Chernobyl in 86, and they built a shelter in Moscow. And the thing about her that amazes me the most is she would always say, two hands and a heart. That's all you need. Two hands and a heart. And I am no Mother Teresa. and I don't need to be. But that example of love. Now you look at someone like that exuded love, that was pure. Her presence changed a room, changed thousands and thousands. Her Purple Heart Center in India treated over 40,000 people, gave them dignity, gave them a place to be when there was no place to be. When they were sick and suffering, they were given compassion and love. That's just in India. This woman, this meek and humble woman who exuded that perfect love, didn't feel it herself. They put out her diaries, and she suffered from depression. No one ever knew. She gave so much love and light to the world, but didn't feel it for herself. Sometimes there's a disconnect. And one of the things that we talked about this week is really being in that place of refilling ourselves with that self love to be able to shine that light without diminishing our own. We get to be here, and there's examples. Ernest Holmes said, if we look at love long enough, we shall become lovely. For this is the way of love. God is love. If we gaze longingly at joy, it will make its home with us, and we shall enter its portals and be happy. What are you looking at? Are you looking at your problems, or are you looking at the solution? What do you choose to have in your life? The most amazing story that I love about Mother Teresa was, it was in 1982 in Beirut in Lebanon. It was the middle of awful shelling and fighting, and there were 100 orphans that were left. There was no food. There was no way to get them out. Most of them were disabled or ill, and there was nothing they could do. And one of the nuns from her order sent a message. She showed up the next day, and there was a ceasefire. Her prayer was so strong because everybody thought she was absolutely insane to be even flying to where she was. It was a ceasefire that was long enough. They said, how are you going to get these children out of there? She said, one at a time. I will use my hands one at a time, as I've used for each one. And that one turned into 42,000, one at a time. So we get to have that example of being love. We don't have to go to Calcutta, although if you'd like to give your time to whatever service, you give to whatever you believe in. Feeding the homeless can be writing a check, because that's that's where you put your love. You bless it and you send it to somebody that can help. There's plenty of organizations that do a lot of good. Volunteer. And when we do that, it reminds us, for me, the more time I am in service, the more I am blessed by it. The more I am reminded of all the blessings that I have. It's so easy to get caught up in life. It's so easy to see the news and the us against them. But when there's a tragedy, people show up. Jack Kornfield wrote a little blurb in his story, The Art of Forgiveness. It says, as the World Trade Center burned, one man slowly lowered a colleague in a wheelchair, one step at a time, down 68 floors, and they got out on time. Another offered wet paper towels as smoke masks to hundreds who descended before him. As office workers poured out, suffering around the globe, there are those who have discovered the good heart's capacity to love and who are willing to tend to the sorrows of the world as their own. So when we see a news story, it's recognizing this is my sister, this is my brother. And we know that love changes everything. So pray and know that love. Know that that love that you are, that energy that you're sending, knowing in that one mind, is attracting the good for each one involved. I don't have to see it, but I know it works. When somebody calls you and says, oh, I've been thinking of you, that is love at work. That's our intuition saying, call that person. We can show up in so many ways, and love sets us free. Sets us free from the things to do. It sets us free from the seeming gripings of whatever's going on any given day. If we can get out of the moment and move into something bigger than me, amazing things happen. Marianne Williamson said in The Return to Love, love is what we are born with. Fear is what we have learned. What we've learned here. The spiritual journey is the relinquishment or unlearning of fear and the acceptance of love back into our hearts. There's either fear or there's love. Fear isn't an absence of love, it's just the covering up. Love is always there. It's who you are. It's within you. It's always capable. Sometimes we get distracted. The noise, sometimes hate or fear or whatever word you can put in there advertises a little bit louder. And love's just the whisper waiting. It's already there. Settle in. Be still and know. Remember, you get a choice to be in that place. Loving is a much more useful experience of our efforts than complaining, than griping, than, wondering, when is it my turn? I can't tell you how often I catch myself reacting versus responding in love. We all do it. It's part of that ego caught up in what I need to do. So when we read spiritual texts, when we have our spiritual tools, these are the things, spiritual community, it reminds us there's something more. There's something more than just me. There's something more than just what I can see or know. I'm a part of it. And when I authentically show up in life, it allows others to do the same. It reminds others that they can shine as well, that it's safe to be themselves. So I invite you to really inspire others with your light, your smile, your compassion, your kindness. What does that look like in the world? How does that show up? We talked about who we want to be in the world as far as CSL Greater Boston. Yes, absolutely. We are a loving community, inviting to all, and we choose to do good in the world. How does that show up? And I think that's important. And I think that it doesn't matter how many people you have, it's a coming together. And I look forward to us doing more things. It's not about just finding our next right home as far as where we have service or anything like that. I look forward to us doing more good in the world now, showing up at community events or whatever it may be. You know, just like I said in the beginning, we know the ending. Ernest Holmes said, "Nothing can keep us from the love of God." What a comfort. What joy to know that all is well with my soul. All is well with the soul. No matter what. No matter what. So I invite you to really be in that place of understanding that regardless of what I see or in any given moment, what may seem wrong. And I'm not minimizing things like grief. I'm not minimizing whatever seeming problem may be in your life today, whether it's financial or health. I'm not saying that things don't exist and come up. I'm saying that know that Spirit is with you, for you, as you, and expect miracles. Show up as love and allow them to come through you. Just one day at a time, one moment at a time. Sometimes 1 minute of kindness at a time. And I'd love for us to end with our affirmation. And it's a little bit longer this week, but I absolutely love it. It's James Dillett Freeman. And I invite you to say this with me. The light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. The presence of God watches over me. Wherever I am, God is. I'm going to say that last line one more time. Wherever I am, God is. So I invite you to be that joy in the world. I invite you to be that love and show up asking, what would love do? What's mine to do here? How do I show up in the world and make it better? And I promise you, if that's your focus, you will live with joy and miracles every day of your life. So thank you for being here with us for this message, which I think is so important. And I invite you on Thursday nights. We have our sacred circle at 7. It is always a different messenger. We have different people leading all the time. We have, it's always a different spiritual leader and different topics. It's always wonderful. So join us, please, on Thursdays. It's on our Facebook page and it's also in our newsletter. If you haven't subscribed to our newsletter, please remember that you can find out more about us and go to cslboston.org. It gives you the opportunity to find out about us. And we wouldn't be here without our sacred giving. So our sacred giving, the law of circulation, giving activates receiving. We are the good in the world because you help us get there. So if you've been spiritually fed by our service, know that you can use PayPal, or the Venmo link is also in the bottom of it's in the bottom of wherever you're watching this. And you can feel free to, thank you for whatever it is in your heart to give. And our sacred giving affirmation, if you can say it with me: divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. And so it is. So thank you for being here. And we have a class that we'll be talking about soon. We're going to be beginning a class in October, and looking forward to having you be a part of that with us. And not next Sunday, but the second Sunday, we are always in person in Boston. So looking forward to seeing you in Medford, Massachusetts. And before we go into our final song, I'm going to do a treatment or affirmative prayer. It's our type of prayer, and it is not begging or beseeching. We know that it is Spirit's good to grant us the kingdom, and we are here and sharing that kingdom with each other. What a gift it is to be that love in the world. So I am taking a breath right here and right now, knowing that there is only one power, one presence, one love, one life, and that this one is right here where I am. There is only love. Knowing that one love is everyone, everything that I know is Spirit, the Alpha and the Omega, and everything in between. That each one is an individualized expression of this one love. I show up as love today. Every person that I meet, I recognize as Spirit. My soul recognizes their soul, and there is love. I step into this day, this new week, in joyful expectancy, knowing only love, practicing self-care, knowing what to do, when to do it, how to do it, following divine intuition, vibrant, healthy, joyful. And I claim this good for each one. I know that love attracts. So right here and right now, I call all good to anyone in seeming need. I know Spirit is filling the cup of anyone and everyone. That there is no lack, only abundance. So I pluck out any seeming fear, any weeds of doubt or insecurity, and I boldly step forward, knowing that there is more than enough, knowing that I am heard, that I am loved, that I am safe, knowing this of myself and each one, that my eyes are fixed on the blessing and being the blessing. I show up just for today as love. So stepping into this love, this life in a greater way, I am filled and fulfilled. And I know this truth for myself, for each one within my voice and beyond. I know that CSL Greater Boston is growing in amazing ways. This spiritual family is a good, greater good, and it is a source of good in the community. What a gift to know that we show up as love. So knowing this truth, celebrating it, I am so grateful. I say amen as I set it free. Amen and blessed be. And together we say, and so it is. Thank you for being here with us today. Thank you for being the love we wish to see in the world. And I have one more song that I love, and it's actually a version that I love as well. It is got a bunch of people, and you'll see more as it goes on. And it's called Higher. Your love keeps lifting me higher. So let us be that love for so many. Thank you for being here with us. I wish you a beautiful week. Namaste.
Come on out, Sam. Come on, John. Okay. Darlene. Tommy. Come on, man. A 1, 2, 3, 4. Bring it up.
Your love keeps lifting me higher than I've ever been lifted before. So keep it up, quench my desire, and I'll be at your side forevermore. That's why your love keeps on lifting me higher.
You know, once I was downhearted, disappointment was my old friend. But then hey, you came with your party, and it never showed his face again. Come on, Sam. Oh, I'm so glad I really found you. One in a million, girl. Now you can't put your loving around me. I can stand up and go and face the world. Oh, your love keeps lifting me. Keeps on lifting me. Lifting me higher and higher. I know your love keeps lifting me. Keep on lifting me. Keep on lifting me higher and higher, higher. Well, now once I was downhearted, and disappointment was my closest friend. And what? But then you came, and it soon departed. Think you did what? And you know he'll never show his face again.